So recently, you guys know that I had a really crazy experience that just changed my life, flipped my life completely upside down, and has inspired me to want to reach out to people like Christian and his mom, Kim, to tell their testimony, their amazing testimony of what happened to Christian. So Christian, Kim, thank you guys so much for coming out and sharing this story with us. We're so happy that you guys are here. And Christian, I just want you to just give us all of the details of what happened to you.
Okay. We live in Muldrow, Oklahoma, about 20 minutes from Fort Smith, and I was hanging around some guys that I played sports with. Just wanted to hang out, have some fun, not do anything wrong or whatever. But see, they weren't friends; they were just guys I played sports with.
Sure, just like acquaintances.
Yeah, acquaintances. Okay. Yeah, and it's just and that I was not wearing a helmet, and really, helmets, they help save lives. They really do. I wasn't wearing one, and she crashed it, and I flew off ATV off-road vehicle, and hit the ground very severely hard. My entire brain was injured. I've actually lost a couple of bone plates around my brain right now.
Wow.
That's how bad it was.
Floyd County 911.
Yeah, we got a guy. We just the ranger out of control into the ditch, and he's unconscious.
Okay, where are you at?
We're at the Muldrow Bottoms at the cutoff. You go about a mile, and we're down here in the ditch.
All right. Let me see here. What's the best directions on how to get there?
Well, do you know where the cutoff is? Does anybody in Church County know?
Yeah, I'm sure my drivers do. It's going to be in the Muldrow Bottoms?
Yes.
Okay.
Down here before the dam, there's a cutoff, and then there's a straightaway and a couple curves, and then you get to the dam. And we're about a quarter mile. He's bleeding out of the ear, too.
Okay, and he's not responsive right now?
Not at all. We've been trying.
Just 1 second.
So he was laying in a ditch. He was left there for 3 hours.
Oh.
Okay, instead of asking for help, calling for help, the woman that was driving, she left him laying in a ditch. So during that time is when he did die and he went to heaven.
So let me ask you this. What did Jesus look like in your journey? I mean, what does Jesus look like? I mean,
Let's just say, long story short, he was beautiful.
Okay.
More beautiful than every other beautiful person and woman, everything, all in one, and perfect in every way, shape, or form. That was him.
So what did Jesus say to you while you were in heaven?
He told me, Christian, one, he said, you're so young, but he gave me the option, the choice, if I wanted to come back to earth or not. And I said, I would love to. He told me that I'm going to bring thousands of people to Christ through my story. And I'm going to have a platform. And so let's skip ahead of time. And I started saying, Lord, I believe in miracles. I believe that we can do all things through you who strengthen us. All things through Christ who strengthens us. So why don't we make thousands of people? Why don't we make it millions of people?
Amen.
One of the most important things through this journey, if I may, is we need to touch on forgiveness.
Oh, sure.
Because, this was an accident in the beginning, but, it turned into a full-fledged crime. When you don't call for help for a child, that you've crashed the vehicle and you let him lay there in the ditch and you leave, that's a crime. Sure. And it is something that we had to forgive. But for me, I knew immediately. I mean, it was like, it really wasn't my focus is what she had done to him. My focus was just, was him. I was so horrified what had happened to him. It was like not even real to see him laying there and, every tube coming out of his body, and, the machinery was from that wall almost to that wall of stuff, So, but I knew that I couldn't hate her, not forgive her on this hand, but on this hand, oh God, 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 give me my boy back. Give me a miracle.
Yeah.
They say it's going to take a miracle. Lord, give me a miracle. I hate you. You're going to burn in hell. I knew that didn't mix.
Sure.
I knew he had forgiven me for all of my sins, and I had to let it go. And for him, it was hard. We went through actually years of severe depression.
And several thoughts of suicide.
Oh yeah.
Because of course, the devil, it's like the devil's playground. He smiles, he laughs, he's happy how we weren't doing what we needed to be able to have done to get better. It made him happy, it made him smile. But guess what? God ended up taking over and everything came to place. So that's where I am right now.
I want to say that is something that this young man has touched more lives than I've never seen anything like it. The messages that I've received, the comments on Facebook of people that say, you will never know what watching your journey has meant to me. When I'm at my lowest, I think, I'm going to go watch a Christian Mayberry video, and then I'm happy. People that say, you've saved my life, literally saved my life, that I didn't want to live anymore. People that say, well, if Christian can go through what he's gone through, how dare I, complain about. It's just constant, and we go out and total strangers come up to him and just love on him and tell him, such beautiful things about his testimony. So, but we started seeing that happen from the very beginning, and it's been an amazing thing to witness.
That is so neat. So has Christian changed any since this has happened compared to how he was prior?
Before, he was very sweet, very kind, very loving, very outgoing, which he's all those things now. But now, he wants to tell everybody about his story. He wants to hug everybody. So, he's changed in that he's a lot closer to the Lord, but how could you not be when you actually, you go to heaven and you meet the Lord? And you know that you were dead. So he's changed in that way. But people always loved him before, but it's just kind of like, as they say, on steroids. It's on steroids times 10. It's pretty amazing to watch.
Wow.
Get to see.
Tell us about the church story.
Okay. So a few years later, this happened in 2013. So 2016, we were down in Pensacola, which is where my son Blake lives. And we were at a church service, and when the service was over, the youth pastor came down off the platform and just walked directly up to Christian. He didn't say, hi, how are you? What is your name? May I pray for you? What do you need prayer for? He just started praying. He embraced him and started praying. And so I'm right by him, and I'm listening, and my sister's on the other side, and she's listening. The man had never met us. He knew nothing. You can't look at him and go, oh, brain injury. You don't know what's wrong with him at all. You don't know anything's wrong with him. So anyway, he is praying this beautiful prayer, and then all of a sudden he says, the Lord's going to give you a brand new brain. And he knew nothing. He knew nothing. Christian, I was right there. Christian didn't say a word to him. And so I just kind of, I just sat down. I told my mom what he said, and I'm crying. My sister's over here crying. I jump back up. I don't want to miss any of it. And he says, in this prayer, he says, the Lord's going to give you a platform. You're going to reach thousands of people. He didn't know at the time that he was already giving his testimony in churches. He didn't know the documentary was being done. So that could mean thousands. He didn't know any of that. And he says, Lord's going to make you smart, going to make you very smart. And then again, he repeated, the Lord's going to give you a brand new brain. So then when he finally quit praying, and they, quit hugging, and, we're just crying. He's not crying because he can't cry with his brain injury. But my sister and I and my mom were telling him why we're crying so hard. That you don't know what you just prayed. I mean, to say that the Lord's going to give him a brand new brain, that's what he needs.
Well, the fact that he even mentioned the platform too, not to mention God himself told you that you would have a platform, in fact.
Yeah.
That's so insane.
And told our state representative the same thing.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Okay, so we were in the nursing home, that was the last place we needed to go, but we were told by Oklahoma Medicaid that, we've paid for all the places in Oklahoma that will take him. So now you have to decide, is he going to go home or is he going to go to a nursing home? And I basically said, well, no way. He can't go either place. He has to have rehab. Well, I'm sorry, Miss Mayberry. We will not pay for him to go out of state. So with me kicking and screaming and vowing to get him out of there quickly, we went to a nursing home, and it was a disaster. But so I reached out to our state representative, John Bennett, and I told him what was going on. I didn't know him at all, but he came to the nursing home to meet Christian. And when he left there, he said when he got to his car, the Lord told him, you do whatever it takes to get Christian out of that nursing home. He said he's going to have a platform and he's going to bring thousands to me. And that was just 1 year into it. So Christian was hardly talking. He was still paralyzed. He was laying in a nursing home bed. So, that was far-fetched, if you will.
Sure.
So he was the first one that, was given that,
Wow.
But,
so several people have mentioned this.
Yeah.
Not just God, but several people.
Right.
That's so cool.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
So
And that's his favorite thing to do.
I do.
Is go to churches and give his testimony. I mean, and it's really been hard during COVID because there's been hardly any speaking engagements. But if he had his way, we would be at a different church several nights a week.
Exactly.
Well, if there's anybody watching right now that has a church that would like Christian to speak at, how could they get a hold of you guys?
Well, they can go to Pray for Mayberry on Facebook.
Pray for Mayberry on Facebook.
And just leave me a message, or it's k.mayberry777@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know how to find them. If you would like for Christian and his mom to come speak at your church, I'm sure they would love to do that.
Yes.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing that wonderful testimony. That really touched my heart, and I know it's going to touch millions of others that are watching this video right now.
Thank you.
If there's any type of life advice that you could leave us with today, what would that be?
One is, I say, forgiveness.
Sure.
You've got to forgive. I mean, there's 101 different things. I mean, it could be relationship.
Anything.
It could be whatever it may possibly be. You have got to forgive one another. You got to forgive your spouse, your mother, your father, your mom, dad.
Just wipe it clean.
Whoever.
Right.
Wipe it clean.
Just like he did for us.
Or flush the toilet. Disappear. That's a strange way of looking at it, but I mean, hey.
That's Christian.
Honestly, though, just flush it down the toilet.
You gotta do it. Yeah, you rub it well.
Oh, goodness.
Well,
That or light it on fire and just let
Okay.
burn.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Christian. I sure appreciate you guys for coming out. And that's a nice, firm handshake you got there.
Don't hurt him.
That. I always try to squeeze real good, too.
That's good.
And also, thanks, Kim. I really appreciate you as well.
Thank you so much. We enjoyed it.
We do. We really appreciated it and enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys next time.